Stop rescuing people. People will rise to the opportunity. And if they don't rise to the opportunity, that is such a good place to be because now you have really good information. Maybe this person doesn't belong here. Maybe. I mean, maybe. I don't know. But in our efforts to be so super likable, in our efforts to confuse our work now and what's called upon for us, we want to constantly be next to them, right? Like, I'm just like you. I'm just another worker bee. No, you're not. You're a queen bee now. Now you're the queen bee. And maybe that person, you need to see them and allow them to show you and themselves. Am I the kind of person who's going to rise to this moment? Or am I the kind of person who's going to need her to get out of her, I'm just like you, likability thing and do something about the person who is holding us back and not rising to the moment? Because, like, honey, like, why should somebody else always come in behind you and have to clean up your work? Like, that's not a thing. You're listening to Madam Speaker Says, your no fluff cheat code to becoming the voice everyone listens to. I'm your host, Magogodi. If you've been waiting for a permission slip to straighten your crown and take up space like you invented the blueprint, Madam Speaker Says got you covered. No whispers, no apologies, just you, me, and some bold ass moves. Let's get into it. I know this one is going to slap. I know this one is going to bang because this is something that is a transition point for a lot of impact leaders, for a lot of women, for a lot of leaders at the margins, because we so much want to be close to the work, because we so much want to touch the people that we're affecting. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that your impact doesn't matter. Of course it does. But I want you to consider what would shift in your work if you moved from being the worker bee and constantly needing to prove yourself and to produce, right? And you shifted into the identity of, no, I'm the queen bee. If I don't set the vision for this thing for the next, 7 generations, then this entire colony is going to sink. Think about that. Think about that. I am your host. I am Magogodi Magene, and welcome. This is Madam Speaker Says. What am I talking about? Recently, I was in a conversation with one of my clients. Madam Speaker Says has a whole section that is Madam Speaker Coaching, okay? And I'm a strategist. I work with experts who are impact leaders, who are amazing. And I help these women to sharpen their tools. I'm basically their secret machete that helps to sharpen them so that when they get in the rooms that they're supposed to dominate, to take down white supremacy, it's like, they're not even ready for you. They didn't even see you coming, okay? When I was in conversation with this client, the thing that she said that really stopped me in my tracks is how much she needed to shift her identity from somebody who was constantly coming in to sweep and to be the cleaning crew and basically like to help make sure that things are maintained and sometimes to put things to bed, like the people who handle all of like the bodily fluids and things that are like done. Who wants to come in and do that? Maybe some people, but not necessarily the person who is the visionary. She wants to shift from that into becoming the visionary, into becoming the kind of person who makes disruptive change. And to make disruptive change, you have to shift your identity from, oh, I can get that done. Oh, I'm the queen bee. Oh, it won't be as good unless I'm the person who personally makes sure that all of the T's are crossed, all of the I's are dotted. That's nice. And I'm glad that you can do that. And you've gotten here because you knew how to do that, right? But to go to where you're going, honey, to take the vision that you have right now to the next level, you need to be the visionary. You need to be the queen bee. And nobody embodies this better than Rihanna. I want you to think about, like, is she the hardest working person that you have ever seen? Like, have you ever seen Rihanna actually slapping labels that say Fenty on any of her packages of her beauty brands? Like, she also has a lingerie line. Have you ever seen her in a factory, like putting these things together? Have you ever seen her tweaking the formulas? No, you haven't. And I'm not here for the critique of, okay, capitalism, okay, like how systems and factories work. That's just pause that conversation because it's really smart, but that's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is you need to move from being the hardest working person to being the hardest visionary person. Okay. You need to be the biggest visionary person. Every time whether you like Rihanna's music and her products or not, that I don't really care about that. I need you to think about her as an example of, I need you to embody that kind of authority and that kind of worker bee energy. Why? Because if you don't, we won't have a colony after even 7 years, forget 7 generations. If you don't do this work, like we're actually like we're going to be extinct. Like we're going to be extinct. There's not going to be any more of us. Because do you see what these fools are doing? They're trying to destroy the planet itself. The planet itself. Forget the people. And they definitely have a death warrant out for you and for anybody who looks like me and you and anybody who is here to disrupt the status quo. But like the planet won't be here. And if more of us don't stand up and actually use what we know to change the vision of what's possible and to dare to imagine, bold enough, wild enough, and different enough from the current structures that we're going to be in some very, very hot water. This really matters. Okay. This is not something that is like, okay, this is a nice to have. There's just not enough of us who occupy those positions of the queen bee. And I'm not talking about, I need you to become a billionaire like Rihanna. Very far from that conversation. But I am saying I need you to occupy the level where you understand you've done all that work, right? You have delivered, you have saved, you have fixed messes. And if that's something that you're still doing now, if you feel like you have to outwork everybody, out execute everybody, outthink everybody, we are not going to move mountains to get to where we need to as humankind, because the work that your ancestors have called you here to do is huge, and it requires you to see the long game as a visionary. And if you're constantly bogged down in delivering, in saving somebody, in fixing somebody, in making sure that the mess is cleaned up, if you're constantly bogged down in that, who's going to steer the ship? Who is going to be the leader that sees how we've come? Like we need not even a hard left. We need to get out of the ship. We don't even have the kind of vessel. It doesn't exist yet for where we're trying to go. But we need you to imagine that vessel. How are you going to do that work if you're busy doing the busy bee work? Like you can't, right? The worker bee believes that if they don't do it, then it won't be excellent. The queen bee, she's different. She's like, if I'm the person who's doing it, then I'm being misallocated. Like my time is basically not being thought about and not being used strategically enough. And if that's the case, then the vision is going to suffer. So how do you do this, right? How do you move in a way where you're not staying in execution, because that's a loser's game for the stage of where you are right now. The stage where you are right now is seismic culture shift, is disruption, and disruption takes imagination, and it takes visionary work, and it takes leadership. Number one, what can only you do? Answer me that. What is the thing that only you can do? And usually it looks like, what are the decisions that only you can make? And if you don't, then everything else bottlenecks. Try and think about this more from a decision angle and less from the like doing, performing activities. Yes, there's some stuff like storytelling. That might be the kind of thing. Not only can some of the worker bees do the storytelling, but there's a certain kind of storytelling. You're the only person who can do that, right? But what are the decisions, right, that only you can make. And if you don't, then everything else bottlenecks. Storytelling is different. If you don't do the storytelling, it's not like everything else bottlenecks, but it is probably the kind of thing that you need to get really sharp at, because if you don't, then it makes the other stuff more stagnant. Number two, what can you stop proving that you're capable of doing? Because you've already like you got the receipts, okay? That's how you got here. You already told them that like you have the work experience, you have the credentials, you've been to the right schools, you've gotten all the fellowships, blah, 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 blah. That's nice, okay? But where you are right now and where you're trying to go next, you really need to stop proving that you're capable and start thinking about when you sweep in to save the moment, you're communicating that your value lives in your labor. When you, every single time something goes wrong, you swoop in and you come in to try and make it perfect, all you're doing is helping train everybody and to understand, oh, she's here because her time is all about fixing everything. And her labor is why she is hired here, as opposed to your imagination, as opposed to your vision, as opposed to your leadership, as opposed to your being 5 paces ahead of everybody else. And you can't get 5 paces ahead if you don't have the mental space and clarity to see things before they actually hit, right? What if you allowed the thing that you're sweeping in to make 100%? What if you just allowed it to be 85%? Think about that. Stop rescuing people. Stop rescuing people. People will rise to the opportunity. And if they don't rise to the opportunity, that is such a good place to be, because now you have really good information. Maybe this person doesn't belong here. Maybe. I mean, maybe. I don't know. But in our effort to be so super likable, in our effort to confuse our work now and what's called upon for us, we want to constantly be next to them, right? Like, I'm just like you. I'm just another worker bee. No, you're not. You're the queen bee now. Now you're the queen bee. And maybe that person, you need to see them and allow them to show you and themselves. Am I the kind of person who's going to rise to this moment? Or am I the kind of person who's going to need her to get out of her I'm just like you likability thing and do something about the person who is holding us back and not rising to the moment? Because like, honey, like, why should somebody else always come in behind you and have to clean up your work? Like, that's not a thing. And also, this is really important. When you come in all the time, and I see this now that I'm a parent, I see it with my kid. When I resist the temptation to come in and let me just quickly do it for you, let me just quickly like fix this for you, I'm robbing my child of something so critical. And any parent knows this. When they do it themselves, when they figure out how to put that shoe on themselves, or whatever it is, how to like beat that egg themselves, they get so, my kid is a toddler. So the level of excitement is here. It's beyond 10 out of 10. It's the same for any other human being. It's the same. When you allow somebody to rise to something that feels like a challenge for them and is like easy peasy for you, you're giving them a gift. You're allowing them to see themselves in this light. I need you to not take that away from them, okay? And number 3, I need you to fire yourself. It's time. It's time for you to be fired, okay? If you feel like you're the only one who cares the most, and you need to be the one who cares the most, otherwise your mission will die, you have a sustainability problem, but you also have a design problem, because you need to build collective ownership into the design of the work itself. How do you allow people to feel like, oh, this, I'm a part of this in a deep way, like this is mine? And that's that caring, right? When they feel like that, and you need to think creatively about what are the ways that you bring people onto the journey in that way. When they feel like that, you allow yourself to fire yourself. Yes, of course, you're still going to care. Like, I'm not saying like that would be crazy talk. You're still going to care, but you don't have to over carry everything on your back. Who wins when you're carrying everybody on your back? Ask yourself that. Like, who is winning in that model? The question that I want you to wrestle with and that I want you to sit with and be in deep conversation with is, what is this thing that you are building? What is its vision? And what is the cost of not seeing that vision through? Because your refusal to step into the queen bee role that you're in right now, that's your season, right, is robbing us of that vision. And me personally, like, I'm not a con artist. I'm not a thief of any kind. And the longer that you keep playing that game, the more of a thief that you are. And I don't know about you, but like thieving and conning, bad, bad in my book. Bad, bad, bad. Not things that I'm trying to like replicate. And I know that those aren't things that you're trying to replicate. That's part of the problem of what you see in the world and what you want to fix and why your work exists. So I need you to step into that queen bee energy. And I'll say this. I'll say this to you as the very last thing. Stepping into that requires something seismic in how you be, in how you embody your identity. You don't do that as easily alone. There's a fast track that is, let somebody else carry the weight of that becoming alongside you. If you read Michelle Obama's book, Becoming wasn't like, oh, look at me, just one pony show, getting to just constantly become the first lady. No, first of all, she needed millions, millions, millions of votes in order to become first lady. And that work wasn't something that she did on her own. It started in the Robinson family, and then it became all these people who held her throughout, offered her strategy throughout, and even still today, dressed her even, right? I need you to ask yourself, for where you're going and for what your vision is, what are you willing to invest? And what kind of team do you need around you? My DMs are open. I am a strategist who works precisely on helping impact leaders who want to disrupt white supremacist leadership institutions. I am here for that person to give them the tools so that they are not only visible, but they are the obvious and only authority, right? If you are stepping into that queen bee energy from your worker bee energy and you need some support around that, my DMs are open. This is Madam Speaker Says. I am Magogodi, and I thank you so much for being here.
Hey, pull up, pull up, pull up. Just you and me for a second. Are you an exec, a founder, or an entrepreneur who's sick of shrinking in rooms you're overqualified to lead? It's time to stop playing small and start owning your expertise. But how, Magogodi? Girl, I got you. I offer coaching that helps women of color just like you to claim your place as a thought leader. Whether you want to command a room, craft and share your signature story, or finally get that book out of your head and onto bookshelves, I've got the strategy and spicy accountability that you need. If you're tired of seeing less qualified folks shine while you stay behind the scenes, girl, the wait list is open. Follow the link in show notes to stop waiting for permission and claim your VIP spot now. My mission? Helping women just like you to snatch the spotlight, shake the table, and take your damn seat at the top already. No begging, no detours, and nope, no apologies. Just bold ass moves.